Hey everybody, welcome back to Plugin Tut, your home for handcrafted WordPress plugin tutorials. And as always, I am your host, Matt. We have a lot to talk about today, and that is setting up a blog that makes you money. The billionaire blogger, right? The blog that converts traffic, customers, email lists, affiliate links, digital products. How do we set this stuff all up from scratch? And when I talk about scratch, I'm saying that today we are starting from scratch. We're going to install WordPress and set it up. So we're going to move pretty fast. There's going to be a lot here. I might miss some things because I'm really just trying to dive into this head first and get the meat of the lesson out to you so that if you're following along, you can set up a WordPress blog that makes you money just like we're going to do today. Remember, if you like these videos, thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to bounce back and forth between this view and the desktop view, and only because some of the stuff I'm going to be setting up, I don't want to have to edit my passwords out and stuff like that I'm setting up. So we'll bounce from that from time to time, just so you're aware. Let's go right into lesson number 1, and that is selecting the right WordPress web host. Now, I recommend 3 web hosts with a bonus 4th that's sort of coming up in the market space. But first and foremost, if you're looking for a super affordable package from a company that knows everything about WordPress and has awesome WordPress hosting solutions, look no further than Siteground. I'll have all the links in the description. And look, I mean, hands down, their support is amazing. Their live chat is super fast. Their plans are affordable. It's a great company, and they give a lot to the WordPress community, and they start at $5 a month for one hosted website. It's not a lot of money when you are running a business on your hosting company, right? The example that I build today is actually going to be using a SiteGround because I have a dedicated reseller plan with SiteGround. Number 2, if you're looking for something in the more professional level, right? Not to say that Siteground isn't professional, but maybe sometimes you want to have a US-based company that you can call up on the phone who also creates amazing WordPress experiences for their web hosting clients, and they give a lot to the WordPress community as well. It's WP Engine, and their plans, hold on a second, start at $29 a month. So it's a managed install, a little bit different than the SiteGround sort of shared hosting plan. This is also shared hosting, but it's a managed plan from the team at WP Engine. They've been doing this for quite some time, so I fully recommend them as well. Check them out if you want something a little bit better than the SiteGround plan. Pagely, if you're looking for high-scale traffic, right? If you want bleeding edge, cutting edge, technologically advanced WordPress hosting, look no further than Pagely. Pagely starts at $100 a month, but that's going to get you 5 sites. So it's roughly about $20 a month per site. And it's just cutting edge stuff. Their servers load ultra fast. They're the ones I use for mattreport.com, plugintut.com, slocumstudio.com, conductorplugin.com, slocumthemes.com. They're all on Pagely plans because I need super fast and I need great support. Look no further than Pagely if you're ready to take your hosting up to the next level. All right, here we are. I'm not going to spend too long in too many areas here because, like I said before, we're moving quite fast. But I'm inside a SiteGround standard hosting package here, so nothing insane, nothing crazy in terms of what you'll see in terms of page load and things like that, and features that you see up here on the screen. We're going to use the domain that I always use, weekendwp.com. I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh just so you can see this. A lot of this stuff I'm just trying to show and prove to you that we are starting from scratch. Just says 403 forbidden error because there is no WordPress site loaded here right now. We're going to do that right now. In the cPanel dashboard, I can click on WordPress installer. And this is a Softalicious, what they call a Softalicious script. It's inside of cPanel. I'm just going to click on Install Now. It's going to give me all the options that I need to install my WordPress site, what directory it's going to be in, what domain it's going to be in. I can set up my site name now. So let's just do that for example. Sake, weekendwp.com, what my site description is. We'll talk about this in a minute, but let's just say this is WordPress news, and information. And once we talk about like structuring a blog and getting people to understand what your blog is all about, this is the little tagline that comes right below the site title of your WordPress site. Going to be important if you're a blogger and you're putting out recipes for the Portuguese culinary taste buds, right? So you are talking about Portuguese food, or you are a European traveler and you want to highlight the that sort of mantra or that sort of topic. This is what the site description is all about. But again, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I'm going to switch over to this view while I put in the username and password. So right here, you're just setting up all of the default setup, like what your email address is, what your contact info is, and what your username and password are going to be to the admin of the site. Now, specifically Softalicious and this Siteground panel, you could install these limit login attempts, which is a security measure. So I'm going to do that right now, actually. And what this plugin is going to do, because security is important to a blog, just so you know, you don't want your password to get guessed. You don't want your site to get hacked. We're going to talk about that further into the video. But just as a good baseline attempt, if you're setting this up on Siteground as we're moving along here, I'd say go ahead and check off the limit login attempt. And that's what's going to do, is going to stop people from just constantly trying to guess your password, right? And it's going to block their IP address. I'm not going to do this choose theme thing because we're going to start with the default WordPress stuff. Now, that's it. Just fill that out. I click on install, and you'll see here it's sort of running through its paces and setting up the WordPress install. And I'm already running my mouth dry. So I'm going to have a sip of Starbucks. And you can see that this has actually emailed me as well, which is another great feature about setting this up on Siteground. You can go through this panel, set it up, and it emails you those usernames and passwords so you don't forget them. But it's going to say right here, your WordPress has been successfully installed. Here's the URL, and here's how you access it. So I'm just going to click that. It's going to take us to our site. And voila, WordPress is set up. There's no uploading stuff. There's no, figuring out what files go where. The Siteground Softalicious installer will do that for you. One other cool thing I just want to mention, I don't want to make this a sort of a Siteground review, but if we go back to our cPanel, depending on what hosting package you've chosen with Siteground, you get these pretty cool WordPress options, right? Or features with Siteground. So I can go in at any point and I could just delete this weekend WordPress install that I just installed and start from scratch. I can configure SSL. I can fix permissions. Sometimes when you're uploading plugins or something breaks, it might be a permission issue. You can come right back here and click on Fix Permissions. So I just wanted to point that out, that they do have some bonus WordPress features. Another one, which is really cool, is if you want staging sites, that kind of thing, you can do that right back here. I don't think this plan specifically has it. Yeah, I don't have it on this particular entry-level hosting plan, but you could one-click install and have a staging site. So if you're making big modifications to your WordPress install, you don't have to do it on the live site and potentially break something while people are looking at your site. Let's move on. First thing that I will set up, and that's the sort of approach that we're going to take as we move through this series, is I'm just going to go ahead and highlight how I go into building a WordPress blog for somebody and just taking it step by step. It's about sort of setting up all my plugins first and getting that all ready, and then just going through the paces of getting everything set up in an orderly fashion. So let's go ahead and continue. First thing that I do is I set up Jetpack. So by default, Siteground puts Jetpack in there for you. I'm already connected because I'm already logged in to my Jetpack site. So I'm just going to click on Return to your site. Setting up Jetpack. Jetpack is a plugin that has a whole bunch of what I'll call little micro plugins or little micro features. It does a whole bunch of things. Some of the pieces I don't use, some of the pieces I do use, and we're going to dive into that right now. You can choose to upgrade here if you want offsite backups. So whichever web hosting company you have, you'll have your baseline backup plan, whatever they offer. But if you wanted something as a sort of secondary backup, or you wanted spam protection, that kind of thing, you could upgrade to these different packages with Jetpack. This is new for them. This is the first time in the last couple months that they're really starting to, I shouldn't say that, but technically the last couple months they've been really pushing the sort of paid offerings here. So you do get presented with this. You can choose to ignore it if you want. I'm just going to go ahead and select on the free plan. All right, we got that settled. So once you select the plan that you want to go with, primarily most of you will probably pick the free plan. It's going to ask you if you want to activate the recommended features of Jetpack. I'm going to actually say skip this step because there are some things that I don't want active, and we want to go through and set that up sort of right now. So for the most part, I don't want notifications on. That's a funny thing, actually. I said I kind of skipped that, and it actually already set it up for me, which is weird. I don't really like notifications. This is for the WordPress.com network. I disable that. And I'm just going to go through and say, here are the things I want. So I want site stats because I like having the site stats in my WordPress.com account or in my WordPress dashboard. We're going to set up Google Analytics later for the more sort of intense analytics to make the decisions for your website. So I leave site stats on. I leave sharing on, so it allows people to allows me to set up those sharing buttons. Publicize allow you to automatically share your posts to social networks when you publish a post. So I leave that on. I like related posts. Related posts is especially great for somebody who has a lot of content right now. So maybe in the beginning, if this is your first blog, you don't have a lot of content, obviously. But as your content grows, as your content database grows, what this will do is drop in at the bottom of your post related posts to a particular article. So again, if you're talking about Portuguese food, it's going to show you all of the Portuguese food posts that you've made, sort of in the past, or anything that might be semi-related to that blog post. So I definitely like that. Comments, you can turn that on. I think when you integrate Akismet, which is the spam protection, and you're using Jetpack comments, it's a good, you know what? I'm kind of on the fence about this, so I'm going to leave that one off for now. But it might be a good 1-2 combo for your spam protection. It also allows you to allows a visitor to comment by logging in through either WordPress.com, Twitter, or Facebook. So that might be beneficial to you if you want. Likes, I leave off. Subscriptions, I am actually going to disable that for right now. Gravatar hover card is going to disable that. Sitemaps, I'm going to disable that because I'm going to show you a different way to do it. Enhanced distribution, I'm going to disable that too. That's a funky kind of setting, that name that they have for this. Enhanced distribution is a way for you to authorize through like webmaster tools in Google. We're going to talk about that later on. And site verification. Oh, I'm sorry. This is site verification for webmaster tools. Enhanced distribution is, let's just take a look at that real quick because I forget what they're doing here. Public posts, firehoses use companies who search for public blog content. So you know what? All right, we'll leave that on. We will leave that on. I don't know why that didn't save that. That's weird. So I'm going to uncheck that, uncheck that, uncheck that. I'll leave that, and I'll uncheck site verification. I mean, you could use it in the Yoast SEO plugin that we talk about later. You can activate it through that as well. So it's kind of having two things to do one. You don't really need that. Security. Again, we mentioned at the top of this that you want to have as much security as possible so that it just doesn't, you're not leaving your site open to hacking and that kind of thing. I definitely want to turn this on. This prevents and blocks malicious login attempts, much like the login limiter that we talked about. So I'm going to leave that on. The monitor section of this, yes, I'll leave this on too. If you're, sort of curious on when your site goes down, maybe sometimes there's a network issue or your web host has a problem. You want to know when it goes down. This will alert you, of that. I wouldn't really depend on it. I have some clients that they love this stuff. As soon as they see something happen and this emails them, they email me like, my site was down. What's happening at the web host? Sometimes it's just a little glitch in the network. It's not major. Now, if your site's making you thousands and thousands of dollars every day or every month, well, yes, it becomes much more of a concern. Akismet. Definitely sign up for an Akismet account. I'm not the one that told you, but you can actually get it for free as long as you're not, running your domain as a commercial entity. You can get a free account. Definitely set up Akismet and get that going for yourself, because that's going to stop all that spam comment that comes through in your comment section. Site backups. Again, you can get backups through Jetpack, which is actually through VaultPress, another automatic company. If you want, you don't need to. If you feel like, having that sort of insurance policy of having a secondary backup is useful to you, then go ahead and definitely activate that. I'm just going to go ahead and activate these three off the top. So tiled galleries is just a better looking galleries feature, and we'll look at that in a little bit. Photon is a technical term, a content delivery network. What it does is it serves up the images that you put on your WordPress blog faster than, more than likely, than your web host. Unless you're using somebody like Pagely, they have their own super fast content delivery network built in. But on the Siteground and maybe even WP Engine, using Photon will just load your images a little bit faster. It also helps compress the images a little bit, and speed is everything when people are consuming your content on a blog. Carousel, again, just a nice look and feel. We'll look at that later, but that's just a nice way for somebody to click through images that you embed in your post. You know what? And I'm just going to actually skip the rest of this stuff because I don't use anything like beautiful math. That's so stupid. I don't know why that stays on. Post by email, I will never do that. Spelling and grammar, okay. Contact form, no. I'll show a different one. Short code embeds, that's fine. WP short links, okay. Custom post types, I'm going to shut that off too. All right, so that's setting up Jetpack. That's a lot. Not all of these plugins are going to take that kind of effort. I just wanted to give you a good base. And basically what Jetpack is doing for us, just as a recap, is giving us site stats. It's making our site load faster with Photon. It's giving us better comments and comment protection, which is great. Security protection is going to get you to block those malicious attacks. And then on the fifth level that I use it for, it's the social, it's the sharing buttons if you like that kind of thing. And then maybe actually the sixth is the better looking photo galleries. That's a pretty cool feature as well. So let's continue. Next plugin that I'm setting up. Now, if I'm setting this up from scratch and maybe even setting this up for a customer, the first thing that I install, aside from Jetpack, because it's as you can see, much more intense process, is the Coming Soon plugin. So, and I use the one by SeedProd, right? 300,000 active installs, 539 reviews. So I'm going to go ahead and install that. And, again, you can choose to use this if you want. But let's say you're launching your blog and you're telling people about it and you're telling people about the new domain that you registered, but you're just not ready for people to go there and see an empty, hello world post of your blog post. You want to have a placeholder page. Installing Coming Soon and Maintenance Mode by SeedProd does that for you. So I've installed it. I've activated it. Right now it's disabled by default. But let's go ahead and put in a headline. My new blog is coming soon! ! And then, maybe you drop it in an email or something like that. Email me to find out more. And I'm not actually going to do that. I'm going to hit Save All. And I will pull up in a incognito browser. Here is my weekinwp.com using the 2017 theme. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm not logged in. This is an incognito window. Now what happens when I enable the Coming Soon mode, I hit Save All Changes, go back, I refresh, boom. My new blog is coming soon. Email me to find out more. So the Coming Soon plugin is about coming soon, and you can put up this placeholder page for now while we're behind the scenes working on our WordPress website. And you can still see it because you're logged in, but people coming to the site, they don't see anything. They just see this splash page. Okay, so pretty cool stuff. It's something that I always sort of set up, right out of the gate. Okay, let's talk about the WordPress theme. So I'm going to talk only about the 2017 theme for the default WordPress theme 2017. I think it's a fairly good theme, and it allows you to go in two different directions. You can build a small business or portfolio site with it, which I've done in another video, and I'll try to link that up here. But it's also a great blogging theme because out of the box, it's not set up for that sort of businessy website, and it's just a typical WordPress blog, and that's what we're going to roll with today. So let's just go ahead and visit that so we can see it one more time. So you can see here, it's just a default WordPress blog post that's in there, or excuse me, a Siteground post. And that's it. All we see here is our header, our site title, and just one blog post right here, and then a sidebar. So it's modern, it's big and sort of open. And when we click on a blog post, it doesn't look much different because all we're doing is going into the same exact look and feel. But you can see here are the comments below. So this is the theme we're going to use. I like it. And you can see actually when you go into a blog post, notice that header at the top of the page where we had that big image before is no longer. It's just this nice sort of short image. And if I go back to the home page, boom, it opens up that big area, hero area or, masked area that you can put an image in. So let's talk about that. There's a plugin that I love. It's called Instant Images. So I'm going to install and activate that. Now remember, I hope that this video comes across well to folks who are following along. I am going to move pretty fast, and I know sometimes I spend a lot of time in some areas that I shouldn't be, but hopefully we all get this. So I installed Instant Images, and what this does, there's a website out there on the web, unsplash.com. This is an amazing resource for free images. Creative Commons, open source images. I shouldn't say open source for you technically, licensed people out there, but thousands or maybe even tens of thousands of photographers contribute to this site. They get some recognition. You can link to them, if you use their photos. But if you're a travel blogger, I mean, look at this. Look at these images are beautiful. If you're a music blogger, right, and you're talking about music, there's so much. If I just come up to the top here and type in for music, it's going to find all of these collections of music. If I search for food, we get all of this food images that are out there. I mean, it is tremendous. And actually, while we're at it, let's say that our blog is about food. It gives me a good base to sort of work off of while we're going here. So the point of that is this Instant Images plugin will go and grab that image from that website for you and put it right into your photo gallery. So, back in the day, what I would do, I would come to the site, I would click on these images. They're massive, right? They're huge high-res images. So I would download them, resize them myself, and move them over to my WordPress galleries. Now with Instant Images, I can just come in here, type in food, hit enter, and there are those chicken wings that I just pulled up before. So I'm going to pull down actually a few food images, and all I have to do is click on it. It automatically downloads it to your website. It's pretty amazing. I have a video about this plugin as well that if you want to watch, you can learn how to use it. I'm just going to grab a few here. So I'm going to grab these croissants. I'm going to grab these cookies. And this is like a pizza, so I'm going to take that too. So I clicked on 3 or 4 images here. And in my media library, there are those 4 images. I can use these across my entire site. In fact, let's go ahead and do that on my home page. So we're going to go to Appearances and then Customize. And inside the customizer, specifically for the 2017 theme, I can change this image. And I'm not going to spend too much time explaining that. I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I have another video of me customizing this theme to its entirety. So let's go ahead and change that header image. So let's go ahead and add new image. And I'm going to go with, let's see what this looks like, because that pan is dark around the edges. It gives me the choice to crop it. So let's just go like this. Crop that. Yes. Yes, I like that. So that's me switching out the header. As a blogger, you definitely want to have imagery and photographs that look really sharp and really crisp. You don't want the sort of janky, pixelated images. It just doesn't send off that good vibe. And if you don't have those photography skills, or you don't have photos of your own sort of whatever it is you do that are fairly good, use a site like Unsplash. Use this image plugin to grab that and put them on your website. And again, 2017 lends itself really well to this kind of, this kind of nice big open imagery. It's just really nice. I'm going to change the title of our site. So I just clicked on that. You can see right here in the blue, these little blue pencil icons. You can click that. It's going to pull up the site title. I'm going to change this to, I don't know. Let's see. Matt's menu of food. No, I'll call it Matt's menu. Listen, I am not a foodie at all. So I'll just say Matt's culinary menu of, foods from around the world. The idea here that I just really want to convey is, naming the blog, there's all sorts of, schools of thought for this kind of thing is, if you're doing product reviews, are you, iPad, iPhone reviewer.com, is it like this robotic sort of sounding name? Or is it more fun, like, Matt's culinary menu, which isn't that fun, but it's the best thing I could think of right now. But you really want to name that depending on where you want to go with your brand. And I've talked about this in past videos about sort of branding yourself. Bloggers should pay attention to that. If you're trying to make some money out of this and get your message out and make this your sort of your living, working on that brand as early as possible is definitely key. I won't go into all the aspects of what I talk about in branding in this video, but just pay attention to it. Don't feel so, robotic, unless you're covering robots, of course. That would probably make sense. But, be fun and sort of creative. And the one thing you want to think about, and I learned this lesson early on, my primary blog and podcast is a website called mattreport.com. And what it is it's half personal for me. So it's my name, of course, and then it's report, which is more about sort of, reporting on what I report on is WordPress and technology news. So it allows me to say, like, if I ever want to grow that business and bring in other bloggers or even sell that business, it's not solely attached to my personal brand. As to say, it's not mattmedeiros.com, right? Or, Matt Medeiros Talks WordPress or Matt's WordPress, thing. It's Matt Report, which, can be sold as a brand separately, even though it has my name in it. So sometimes I've heard of people who have, done really great things with their blogs before, like chrisbrogan.com. Blogging since blogging existed, I've listened to him tell stories that he could have sold that blog and made some good money, probably millions, probably $1 million when he was at his height of, consistently blogging, if it wasn't associated to his name directly. Now, those are things you have to think about. Let's move on. So Matt's culinary menu, foods from around the world. That's going to be my tagline. I'm going to go ahead and hit save and publish. We get a nice image there that sort of represents food. Let's talk about menu structure. So by default, I'm going to go right into menu locations. You can see here that the top menu is associated to the top menu, so that's fine. Home, about, blog, and contact. Those are the pages, right? Those are the pages that we'll focus on today. And actually, you know what? I'm going to add one more, and that's going to be the subscribe. Whoops, that doesn't exist yet, right? So we're going to add it. Subscribe. Add. Okay, and that's going to add that to the bottom. Now, for those who really nitty-gritty kind of things, like does it matter which order it's in? Probably not. But I would say that the most common would be, home, first and foremost, then the about, and then the blog, and then the contact, and then the subscribe. Subscribe right on the end because that's a really important, it's really such a small site and you could argue these things, but having subscribe right on the end, that way if somebody's just reading from right to left, they could just immediately see that, or they get to the end of the list, they see it. And that's going to be a very important page that we want to get people onto our email list with later, because as a blogger, you should be thinking about building an email list. Let's save and publish this. Your about page is also going to be ultra important, and I will just give a few bits to that as we move along here. So our menu is already set, and you can see as we go into our menu, we could rearrange this stuff. It's all done right in the WordPress customizer. It is super easy now with this theme, because if you just click on this little blue icon here, we can see that we can switch out menus at any time. And if we want to edit that menu, we just click edit that menu. It brings us to this screen and we can just add items, search for them, add new categories, whatever it is. This is how you manage your menus. Let's close this out. The next thing I want to talk about, actually, let's go back to the homepage. You can see that it defaulted to this this homepage setup, which actually lends us pretty well because these images are actually food images, and that's the default images it ships with. And you can see as I scroll, the menu up top stays, right? It sticks to the top. So people can always get to the about page or the blog page, that kind of thing, okay? Let's go back to the home and let's go back to customize one more time. I don't want that, right? I don't want this homepage for this this particular example. So I want to move away from the static page and move to your latest posts. Save the page and close. So now on our homepage, it's going to be our blog post. Now we only have one, but I'm going to show you another website, WP Test, and only do this if you are wanting to test your stuff out here. So let's go show in folder. Let's open this up. Let us, let's bring this, and I'm not going to go into all the details of this, but wptest.io will give you a file that you can import. Let's go to tools and import. Import. I'm going to have to install the WordPress importer. So wptest.io will give us this file that we can import a whole bunch of test content. So I'm going to do that. Upload file. Boom, boom, boom. I will download attachments. This might take a moment here, so I'm going to go ahead and hit submit, and let's talk about it. So this is a plugin that you should only use if you're setting up your site in some kind of test environment and you just want example content. Because I need that to help demonstrate some of this stuff, I'm going to do that. Do not import this if you already have a live site. Please do not import this if you already have a live site. So I've imported that. It's given me a bunch of content here, which allows me, I always get rid of that one because it's this big long one and this one. So it's just giving me a bunch of pre-made content so I can demonstrate this theme a little bit better. So now when we go to my homepage, you can see all of these blog posts that are now set up here on the homepage, okay? So cool stuff. Let's go ahead and head back to the pages. So it's also set up a bunch of default pages as well. Let's talk about the about page real quick. And I'm just going to give you a few quick examples here. So the about page is, if we take a look at somebody that is sort of, I don't know why I'm typing his name in, somebody who's really well known in the internet marketing world, and that's Pat Flynn. You can see that he doesn't have an about page. It's more about the start here guide, and that will sort of help you along the way or work with me kind of thing, and resources. These are all sort of key pages that he used to have all in his about page. So you might not have this, wide breadth of content right now, but on your about page, if you're taking a look at, again, his site here, he's sort of mashing all of these things up together. Of course, he talks about himself and who he is, beautiful family photo, who is Pat Flynn, explaining who you are. But more importantly, I would say that anybody who's starting out should really be focusing in on not just about yourself, because if this is your first blog and you're really trying to make it here, that kind of thing, you really want to focus on helping people, right? And on your about page, make it about the person that is there. So yeah, you can tell, and I'm just going to put these in here just as like a guideline. So yeah, first and foremost, who are you and what do you do? Number two, I would then focus on what you can do to help the person reading this. Because most people getting there, like, they want to know if what they're reading is really going to help them. That they're fine. Like, it's okay if they're, maybe they're a publicist, right? Or, a reporter or something like that. And they literally want to find out more about you, to write about you, interview you, that kind of thing. But if it's somebody who's there to consume this content, switching the role and making the about page not about you, but about them is going to be great for your conversions and getting people tied into your messaging and maybe your email list down the road. Really talking about how you're going to help them and then giving them the resources to do it, right? So if we go back to Pat Flynn, he's going to highlight, that very sort of sentiment there where it shows him like working with other people and connecting in the community. And at the end, you can join that community by subscribing. But then again, at the top of the page, he also has all these start here pages, these resource pages. So make it about the person, especially if you're just starting out. What you really want to focus in on is providing how you're going to help somebody get that message across, because you don't have a readership yet. You don't have an audience yet. And that's where you really want it to win that person. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments. The next page I want to focus on, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to get rid of all these other pages. Contact, home, blog. Duplicated those when I imported them. Move to trash. Let's take a look. All right, I'm going to leave the subscribe page. So that's the strategy on the about page. The strategy on the subscribe page, and this is something that I personally do, and we're going to show a plugin to really capture emails here later. But if you're going to eventually do a YouTube channel or a podcast, or you have an email list, for me, I always like to have a /subscribe page. So here's where I would put my podcast info. I would put my YouTube info and my email newsletter. And you really want to have these things in all places, but the subscribe page is just something that you can always use to tell somebody plugintut.com/subscribe, mattreport.com/subscribe. And that's where people can go when they know they want to subscribe. So after they read about you, hear you all the time, they'll know that they can go to that subscribe page to get subscribed. So that's where you want to really put this email newsletter stuff. And I'll show you how to do that with a plugin in a little bit. So those are the two strategies, right, for the pages. I mean, very basic stuff. Of course, the contact page as well. We'll show you how to set that up in a moment. But that's the strategies. The about page, really make it about the customer. The subscribe page, make it easy for them to find you in those different areas and convert them on a newsletter. Next up, Google Analytics. Nope, sorry, backup. We want to talk about backup real quick. So I'm going to come in here and search for backup. I'm not going to sit too long on this topic because this is already going much slower than I thought it would. So there's two backup systems that you can look at. Number one is UpDraft. It's the number one backup plugin in the WordPress repo. You can install that, and this will allow you to pull down backups of your website when you need it, and if you need it. Again, if you don't want to rely specifically on your web host, and you don't want to rely on anybody else, but maybe just having a secondary backup is important to you, you can install UpDraft and go to Settings, UpDraft Backups, and then Backup Now. And it'll ask you what you want to back up. Click on Backup Now, and boom, it makes that backup. It's going to put it right in your directory, or you can download it through this app. But I'm not going to go into that too deep into this. I just wanted to make mention of it again one more time. If you want to have a backup plugin, that's a great one to use. Another great one is BackUpBuddy by iThemes. A lot more advanced and in terms of like what you're getting with this free version versus the BackUpBuddy, and it integrates with your entire suite of website management tools. So if that's important to you, or you have a host of clients that you manage their backups for them and their site updates, BackUpBuddy works with their management platform too, which is really cool. So definitely check that out, and I'll link that up. SEO. This is the next plugin that I set up along the way. So we're going to go to Add New. We're going to go to WordPress SEO. If I could spell. So it's WordPress SEO. Yoast SEO. I'm just going to go ahead and install that. Again, Not going to spend too much time talking about the configuration of this stuff. I just want you to be aware that you can activate it. So once you activate it, here's a few things. We're going to go to the dashboard. I'm going to close out these notifications. And I'm going to open up the configuration wizard. And here's, you can put in your name. I'm going to skip that. I'm going to next on this, production, blog. I'm going to say person. And here, if you fill out all of these social profiles, what this is actually going to do is connect your what they call open graph data or metadata. This is important because when people are sharing links or embedding your link on a social network, it's going to scoop up all of what, that open graph data. Let's just know that it's important. And if you do have these social outlets, to go ahead and fill those out here. And then we're going to go ahead and hit next here and next here. So once you're done, this is one of the part that I wanted to get to. More importantly, you have to set up Google Webmaster Tools. Okay. Very important. And I have no problem showing you where I'm at with Google Webmasters. I'm going to sign in. Google Webmasters is like a health check for your website. I didn't want to go into that one. Let's go into, nope, not that one either. Here it is. So Google Webmasters is like a health check for your website. It's going to let you know if there's issues with the website, if all the content's being indexed by Google, what content is being indexed by Google and by where, which is a little bit different than Google Analytics. And we'll look at both of those right now. So just from the broad dashboard perspective, when I log in, I'll see if there's any errors with my site. DNS is fine. Server connectivity is fine. Robots.txt fetch is fine. So basically, it can see everything in my site. There are some crawl errors with some of the tags, and I know exactly why this happened. Remember when I told you not to import your WP test data? That's because I accidentally did this the other day on my live site when I was setting up a tutorial for somebody else. And now I have all these errors that were indexed. But as I go ahead and correct all those will go away. But this is important to know for your own rankings, for your own website, what's going on. And the Google Webmasters tool, which is actually known as Search Console, will tell you about that if there's a problem. This is the second most important piece of this, and this is the sitemap area of your Search Console. In here, this is where you're going to put in your sitemap, and it's going to index all of the content in your sitemap. This basically says to Google, here are all the pages and posts on this website. Please, let's make sure that we index these, right? Let's make sure that these are searchable pages in Google so you can be found for food blogger Boston. You can be found for, classic car repairman, Louisiana, like whatever it is. You want to make sure that all of your pages are being indexed so that you can be found. And that is the most important reason why you should have this Search Console, along with some other data like how are people searching for you, how many clicks are coming to your website, that kind of thing. Set up your Search Console and then authorize it in this step right here. Title settings, we're going to skip all this stuff. This is pretty in-depth stuff not to cover in this video. But once we have Yoast SEO set up, along from those sort of social media, open graph data stuff that I talked about and this console stuff, Search Console stuff, the biggest benefit is going to be the SEO tools that are enabled on all of your posts and pages. So keywords, title tags, meta descriptions, all at the top of your website, that can all be controlled on a per post and per page basis by just coming in here, clicking on a post, and sure, you can give it a title. So if I was going to say something like the best baked beans 2017, the next thing I want to do is the most important part of a blog post, of course, is the title, but you can't be super kind of, keywordy, stuffing it all in there. It needs to still be engaging, human readable, And really the idea is you want to have a headline that people are going to click on, not just, keywords stuffed in there so that, Google indexes it, which it won't anymore, by the way. I mean, it's way smarter than any of that stuff to happen anymore. So you want to have an engaging title. It has the keywords in there that you're looking for, but not super, gaming the system. And then I'm going to put Best Baked Beans 2017 right over here and hit OK. And I just want to do one thing real quick. What you can do with Yoast SEO enabled is you can come down, you can identify this focus keyword. So for every post that you put out, if you're really trying to optimize it the best, for a particular phrase, you could say, I want to rank for best baked beans. Okay. And I'm going to hit update one more time. So you can see here that the light is right now on orange. So it's right in the middle. It's not red. It's not green, right in the middle. And it's going to tell you why, right? So it's going to say, here are the reasons why. Here's the analysis of, if you're trying to rank for best baked beans, what do we have going on here? So it's going to say green. You've never used this focus keyword before. Okay, very good. No big deal. The focus keyword appears in the URL of the page. That is this part right here, Best Baked Beans 2017. Scroll back down. The page title has a nice length. Okay, that's the page title, the Best Baked Beans 2017. And the page has 0 no-followed links and 4 normal outbound links. So, okay, we're pretty good there. The SEO title contains the focus keyword, but it does not appear at the beginning. Try to move it to the beginning. So if that's getting really detailed. So it's basically saying like, look, if we want, what did I say? I wanted Best Baked Beans. Well, I could just do something like this. Best Baked Beans 2017. I'm going to go ahead and hit update. And now the SEO title contains the focus keyword at the beginning, which is considered to improve rankings. We can see that change, but it's also going to say that now what I've swapped is the page title is too short. Use space to add keywords, so on and so forth. And then it's going to give you no images appear. It's really using this as a guideline to craft your blog post. Here's my advice. I don't spend a lot of time doing that with my content. It's one of those things where I'm doing it much more because I'm creating content that I want people to read and I know people will read or click on. I'm not really trying to optimize every single page. Now, that is not to say that when I find a page that is ranking really well, that I haven't really put a lot of SEO thought into, that I can't go back and optimize it even further to really push it up the rankings. So that's the way I look at it. Like when I start a post, I don't sit there and try to think of all these keywords that I'm trying to, rank for. And, am I going to write all this content to optimize it and make all these lights turn green? No. But when I do get a post that is ranking really well, or I start to see people share it a lot, and I can check my Google Analytics and see that, well, then I go back and I optimize it. When I see fit. But the idea here is, switching back, the idea here is you can modify all this stuff. You can change the SEO title. So even if you want to leave this particular title up here, you could come in and say, Best Baked Beans, Boston 2017, at the world's BBQ cook-off competition, right? Like you can start putting all of these keywords in there. And as you notice that the green bar moves and it's still giving you this preview as if it looked like it was on, a Google search result. Because half the time people are scrolling and it's not about the keywords, but it's about the attraction to your headline, like I said, but also the attraction of the meta description. And you might start off with something like, you don't want to miss the best baked beans ever made at this year's Boston cook-off competition, right? So, these are a bunch of spelling errors. The point is you can control all of this stuff with the Yoast SEO plugin activated. You can use it as a guide. It will literally tell you what it needs to be changed. You can see these bars moving, red, yellow, green, all that stuff. Use it as a base to start crafting your SEO content, but I wouldn't spend a ridiculous amount of time on it. for every single post. I mean, it depends on what your market is. There's a social button. When you click on this social button, if you want your post to appear differently when somebody embeds it on Facebook, with a different title, a different description, a different image, this is where you want to do that. Perfect for optimizing it in those places. Speaking of images, what do we do for featured images? Well, we installed that other plugin before, the instant images. Each blog post should have a featured image. So when we click on featured image, let's just say, well, I don't have anything with beans. Let's see if we get something with beans while we're here. Instant images, beans. Oh, look at that. Except these are coffee beans. They're not baked beans. What happens when I type in baked beans? No baked beans. So let's go back to beans and let's pretend these are baked beans. So I'm going to click that. Downloaded that. Oh, nope, that didn't download. Something happened. Let's go this one. There it is. Close it. And now I'm going to pretend that's baked beans. I'm going to set the featured image. When you're setting a featured image, that's the image that people see when they load the page, when they share it on Twitter, when they share it on Facebook. Obviously, matching up these featured images to your content, super, super important for engagement, relativeness, being relative to your content. Let's take a look at that on the front end. I'm going to preview the changes. There's our beans, and then there's our content below it, right? So the 2017 theme puts these images sort of front and center for that. Structuring content. I'm actually going to leave this content here because this looks like good structured content. There's a whole bunch of resources out there that you can dig into about structuring your blog content. But just some basics. You do want to keep things sort of very readable, very conversation-like, and really separating these sections of thoughts with good headlines. So like something like this, expert WordPress hosting is an H3. You can see if we bump this up to an H1, we'll make this one an H2 so we can see it. Let's preview those changes. So there's our expert WordPress hosting as an H1, nice, big, and bold. This is an H2, so a little bit bigger than those H3s. It just really allows it to have some space, some separation. Most people are just scanning through when they first load up a page. They're not just like diving right in. They want to make sure they're going to see really quick what they're getting into. So if you're highlighting those thoughts in those key areas, that's a bonus. And don't forget, people on mobile, if they're scrolling really fast, those big call to actions can sort of all play through there. So good stuff there. Let's talk about adding an image in real quick. And I want to show you what we enabled before, which were those galleries. So by default, you can create galleries in WordPress. So I'm going to click on create gallery, and I'm just going to create I'm going to select a bunch of images there, and I'm going to go ahead and hit create new gallery. I am going to say let's just say link to none. Well, actually, you know what? Link to media file, because I want to demonstrate that carousel, and then the columns. So when we enabled those enhanced galleries in Jetpack, it's giving us these tiled mosaics, these square tiles, that kind of thing. So let's just click on tiled mosaic and insert the gallery. So you can see it there right in the editor. Those are the images, but it's not going to look like that when we actually preview this page. And you can see right there, that's that nice sort of tiled mosaic, and it looks really, really clean. And when we click on these images, we open them up. This is that carousel that we activated. And the carousel will allow us to scroll through and see all of these images. People can comment on them, see the full size, see the credits of the photo, and then close this out. That's really why I enable Jetpack, especially if somebody's going to be doing a lot of photos in their content as a blogger or as a product business. Just a really nice touch, which is why we spent all that time setting up Jetpack to begin with. So definitely do something like that within your post. Again, depending on your content, making it engaging, making it fun. I definitely recommend using photos and leveraging these galleries as much as you can to get people's engagement up. Whew. What's next on the list? We sort of jumped the gun a little bit. We started talking about SEO, and then we started talking about page structure and content and images. but that's okay. Let's continue on with analytics. What do we need to actually track all of this, all of the traffic coming to our website through Google Analytics? So before we set up Jetpack and we set up site stats, this is great. It's super lightweight. Now, obviously, you're only going to see me because there's absolutely no content here. And I just set it up at the start of the show. So Jetpack or WordPress.com site stats, nice for a quick little in and out, understanding where things are going. You know, if you want it from a bird's eye view, that's, you know, totally fine. But the ultimate sort of Cadillac of analytics, which actually used to be owned by Yoast, but recently sold out to Syed's company, Monster Insights. If I can spell again. Oh, there it is. So Google Analytics by Monster Insights. I'm going to go ahead and install that. I'm going to activate it. And once we activate it, we go to the dashboard and we do the authentication, and we can authenticate with your Google account. Not going to spend all the time in the world in this as well, but you can do all kinds of things with, you know, more importantly, like who's not going to get tracked when they're logged in, the admins and the editors, because you don't want your stats going up while you're in there. It just doesn't make sense. It's just you and you're in here just working on your website. Let's take a look at Google Analytics super fast. So this is what Google Analytics looks like. It's a super in-depth app. It is something that is, you know, really, really just intense if you've never seen it before, but very important to have it set up. Even if you don't have the time to dive into it, I recommend setting it up, getting it configured on your website, because when the time comes where you do meet with a professional to optimize your site, where you finally have the time to really dig in to where the stats are and where people are coming from, it's very important to have this stuff. Because, for example, I just did a video for this on my other channel. I recently increased my page views by, well, now, according to this report, by 100 and almost 12%. Depends on when you ran it. When I did the video, it was 124%. But what we can see here is a month-over-month increase in traffic. This allows me to figure out, you know, what did I do? Well, I know what I did. I tried blogging every single day. I made 26 posts in the month of January, and we saw my traffic double, right? No duh, right? When you start putting out more content, your traffic increases. But the idea here is Google Analytics lets you dive into this kind of reporting and make those very important decisions as a blogger. Definitely have it set up. It is something that you would literally need sometimes a university degree to understand, but clicking around, watching some videos, you can sort of understand that stuff. I just want you to realize that you should have it set up. Google Analytics by Monster Insights does that for you. It allows you to set it up, allows you to activate it, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. It's just going to be tracking all of your Google Analytics as you go. Check that out. Get that set up on your site as fast as possible. Next up on my list is the commenting, the comment system and the page structure. We actually already covered that stuff, which is really cool. Comments, turning on Akismet for spam protection, turning on Jetpack comments is really is one of those things that I'm on the fence about. Let's just pull it up real quick. It is under appearance. Engagement. Now it's going to be engagement. So it's comments. So let's just take a look at what the comments look like before I turn it on. Oh, I forgot. We have our coming soon page. So we can't look at that. We can look at it this way. So this is what comments look like right now. Obviously, I'm already logged in. If I wasn't logged in, you know what? Let's shut off coming soon. That's there's no need to do that right now. Disabled, save changes, visit site. All right. Whoops. Nope. All right. So let's take a look at comments. So this is what comments looks like by default. Comment box, login, or excuse me, name, email address, post a comment. When I go ahead and enable engagement, comments, And that's already enabled. So now I'm going to refresh. So now you can see that change. And now Jetpack is taking over the comment section. There's some schools of thought that it's going to slow down the loading of a site, adds more load time to it, which it does for sure, because it's loading in this sort of JavaScript box. And now people can actually click on, these links to log in using Twitter, Facebook, or Google+. That way they don't have to type in their username and password. They can post the comment. It's totally up to you. I don't use them. I know people that, swear by it because they like the spam protection. They like the fact that their visitors can just click on the social media connection and log in. Totally up to you. Depends on your audience and what you want to offer. I just want to let you know that it's available if you want to do something like that. I want to mention one other plugin in this realm, and that's Postmatic. And they actually recently released this plugin right here, Replyable. And Replyable allows you to, again, once you activate it, it allows people to follow along through email. And basically what they do is they subscribe to the comments, and instead of having to go back to the website when somebody leaves a comment, they see the comment come through in their email, and they can just reply to it through email. You can too, as the site admin. You can kind of manage the comments as well if you want to delete a comment, that kind of thing. Super, super useful, I think. There's a ultralight free plan, and then there's a paid plan, which is like $30 for the year. But once you build up an audience and you get used to replying through email, you become really hooked on it, and it's a very nice value add to your audience and to your customers coming to your site. So definitely take a look at something like that. Let's talk about building an email list. There's a lot of stuff here. I hope folks are still following along and really appreciating this content. This is all off the cuff stuff for me. I didn't really plan it out. MailChimp.com. You can sign up for free. You can send up to 2,000, or excuse me, you can send up to 12,000 emails to 2,000 users per month for free using MailChimp. This is like, content marketing, blog conversion, making money online. Step numero uno is getting an email list going. It's the first thing you should be thinking about as you set up and roll out your blog. Very, very important that you're growing that list. You're not spending as much as your list grows, and you can just email people instantly. You're not spending money on Facebook ads, Google ads, organic search. Like, you have an audience that you can reach at any time through email, which is the most important thing that you can do for your business. So I want to talk about a few examples. You can sign up for MailChimp free, get your account set up, and then what do? There's a few things that you can do. I want to talk about easy forms. Easy forms for MailChimp. Now, I just interviewed the creator of this plugin, which is why it's on the top of my mind, but I'm going to install it. And I'm going to activate it. And what this does is allows you to create MailChimp forms for people to sign up that you can embed in a post or a page. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to show you on, I wonder if I'm going to be able to do this without having to log into my, probably not. Nope. All right, let me just switch over to this screen. So what do I need to do? I need to grab a MailChimp key. Account settings, integrations, API keys. There it is. Copy, paste, save changes. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing my MailChimp API key, and now I can go and create a contact form. And again, if you want to see more of this plugin in action, go ahead and watch that video that I just made. But let's go ahead and create one. I'm going to say Matt's first. This is a test. Create. That's the list it's going to go to. And now you can see on the right-hand side, these are all the fields I have available in that MailChimp list. So I'm just going to do email right now. Add to the form builder, update the form. I'm just having this email address form here, and that's all I want. I can go in, I can change the submit button. I can tweak all these changes. I can do custom messages. It's a pretty sweet plugin. and it makes it really easy. So, but I'm not going to go into all of it right now. The thing I want to do is grab the short code. So I come back to that screen. I can grab that short code. I can go to my all important subscribe page. And then I can drop in, boom, that short code there. And there's my email address. Look how fast that was. Even though I didn't explain it, I kind of already knew what to do. The idea here is get a page, get a widget on the sidebar, make sure that you know you have a clear sort of landing page and call to action visible to everybody to sign up for your email list, because again, like I already mentioned before, it's the best way to grow the audience and to reach them directly. Use a plugin like this, Easy Forms for MailChimp, to put these forms in your in your posts and your pages, things like that. Another one that I recommend that I've done a lot of video tutorials on is Opt-in Monster. This does, and I'll probably see it if I move around here. Let's just, yeah, there it is. So it does a pop-up just like this. You can, this is a marketing machine versus Easy Forms for MailChimp is something that is specifically for MailChimp, and it's these forms that you can put in. It doesn't have a million options like Opt-in Monster, but it's not as pricey as well. You just have to weigh the pros and cons, right? Do you want to use something as robust as Opt-in Monster? It's a SaaS product. It means it's hosted. You don't actually, you install it onto your WordPress site, but you're configuring it in another on another website, in another dashboard. Easy Forms, you're doing it all on your WordPress site. There's a pop-up add-on to it. It might be $20 or $30 or something like that. But if you're just getting started, this is a great plugin to just throw on your subscribe page, put in a widget area so that people can subscribe and always find those subscriptions forms as fast as possible. Many, many schools of thought on pop-ups and call to actions for emails. For lead generation, you could offer somebody a free download when they opt in. If you want to hear more about that stuff, maybe I'll cover that in the future. I really just want to give you the fundamentals of what you need to get a good blog up and running that you can monetize and grow an audience with. Okay. Comment away if you have comments. I'm sure you do. Next up, so I take a drink and look at my list. The pop-ups, I just mentioned that. The newsletters, I just mentioned that. Let's now finally get in. Actually, no, I want social sharing. I'm going to go over to one of my favorite apps, and I'll show it to you in a few different ways here. When I make my blog posts, I actually don't rely on that Jetpack connector, which sends it out to social media sites. I do two things, in fact. Let me write it down while I have it in my head. I use Buffer. So here's what I'll do. Once I go to, I'll do it live. Let's do it live, right? So let's go to mattreport.com and let's go to all episodes. Let's go to one of my favorite ones here, which was with Carrie Dills, creating an online course. And I'm going to throw this into my Buffer right now. So there's two ways I can do this. So bufferapp.com, you can get a free account. I have the pro account, so I can put in a whole bunch of other social media profiles. And you can see here, these are all of my tweets that are actually already scheduled and ready to go. So as I'm blogging and as I'm making more content, that's just half the battle. In fact, it's probably a third of the battle. And the other 2/3 is promoting your content and getting people to come back to the website. Again, getting on the email list, selling them products, getting them to contact you, that kind of thing. So promoting is super important. Putting it on something that's automated so you don't always have to do it yourself is doubly important. And Buffer allows me to do that. So you can see I can go to bufferapp.com. I can fill out my calendar. I can get this stuff in there of new content that I want to promote, when I want to promote it, that kind of thing, across multiple social media channels, as you can see. Or I can do this little, Chrome add-on that I have in my Chrome browser, and I can just scoop up the URL. I don't even have to do anything. I just click on it, put it in which profile I want, which is the Matt Report, and I can do in 8 hours, and hit save. I can do in a day and hit save. And then all I do is hit add all updates to queue. Boom, it schedules it. It's in my calendar. I can go over to my calendar. I'll probably have to hit refresh. And let's see what we see. I already forgot what I did, which one I did. It's in here somewhere. It's in here somewhere. The idea is I did it in a few clicks and it's already out there and scheduled and ready to go. This is great for promoting that at the certain times that you really want to promote it. The next plugin that I use, let's go to add new, tweet old posts, or excuse me, revive old posts, formerly tweet old posts. Let's go ahead and install that and activate it. Now, what you'll have to do here is authenticate your Twitter profile or your Facebook profile. And what this will do is you can actually set it up to tweet out old posts at a certain time. So it says for every 8 hours of a minimum of a post that's 30 days old, post that out, one post every 8 hours. And it just does it on rotate, right? This is awesome for getting traffic back to all of those old posts. As you keep posting and making more content, you know, you stop promoting that. Like in your brain, you stop promoting those posts from, you know, a year ago, but they're still very relevant. They're still very important. A plugin like Revive Old Posts will just scoop all that stuff up for you and send it out to your social media channels that you have set up. Super important. Promotion is super important. So definitely get that stuff set up. One thing I missed as I look at my list off to the right is a contact form. Let's go and add a contact form. The best one for free, which I did a whole contact form wrap up over on the site, is Ninja Forms. I just search for Ninja Forms. I hit install. I hit activate. I'm just going to hit do not allow for right now. One of the greatest things is this form already comes with a contact me form already set up. So all I have to do is install it, activate it, copy this shortcode, head on over to my contact page. And paste in, whoops, I don't want to paste that HTML stuff. Paste in that shortcode, hit update. View my contact page, scroll down, contact form. Look how easy that was. Ninja Forms has a whole bunch of paid add-ons if you really want to do some, you know, donations, payments, all kinds of crazy things that you can do with or you could do MailChimp add-on. So when people contact you, you can have a little checkbox at the bottom that says, please, you know, if you want to stay connected with me through my email list, check here. This is how you get contact forms set up. You can survey people that way. Where did you find me? How did you hear about me? Do you have a referral ID? Whatever. Getting your contact form up, super important. Forgot to really mention that at the top of this video. Ninja Forms. You saw how fast it was. I have a whole bunch of video tutorials on Ninja Forms if you're curious on how to use it. Go check out those videos. Whew. Now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of how you're going to make money with your WordPress blog. First thing I'm going to recommend is Amazon affiliates. So let's say you set up a page called resources or tools I use, what's in my bag, that kind of thing. I'm going to go ahead and hit publish. One of the best ways, or one of the most common ways that bloggers make money and YouTubers make money is through Amazon affiliates. I'm not going to show you how to set it up. Sorry, you can go ahead and check that out. But once you do have it set up, let's say you want to write about the Amazon Echo, which is a very popular holiday item this year. You can see up top I have this bar when I'm browsing and logged into my Amazon account. And what I can do is I can grab an image, I can grab text and an image, just an image or just the text. And let's just grab the text and image here. Highlight it. Paste it into my page. It's an iframe, not the prettiest thing, so I'd recommend using the links, but just to give you an idea. Boom. Amazon Echo. There it is. Somebody clicks that. They buy it. They buy other things in their shopping cart and you get credit as an affiliate. It's amazing, right? It's an amazing world of making money. You're writing about these things, you're reviewing them, you're doing product roundups, whatever it is. Amazon affiliates is probably the best way to quickly make some affiliate money, in the space with your blog, aside from ads. And you can grab the text link and you can just put that text link in your content, and highlight a word or whatever. So you could, you could be like Amazon Echo, highlight it, link it, paste your Amazon link, update it, boom. Now you're making money. People click that. It goes over to the Amazon site. They buy it. You make the commission. That's a great way to make money. You do this across the board. You have a resources page of, all the, let's say, again, if you're a cook or a chef, all the items that you use, all the pots, pans, knives, equipment, culinary books, all of this stuff. You have this all on a page that you can always tell people, check out the stuff that I use on my resources page. It helps pay for this blog. It helps, get some money in my pocket. That's a great way to make a living as a blogger, right? Amazon affiliate links. There are a ton of other affiliate programs out there. I'm not going to cover that, but you can definitely look that stuff up. Winding down into making money as a blogger. You can set up a membership site, right? You can set up a membership program. Again, I recommend Paid Memberships Pro for the free version, Restrict Content Pro if you want a paid version of a membership plugin. Really, it comes down to the feature set. So let's just take a look at Paid Membership Pro. Where is the core plugin? There it is. So these are the two that I recommend. Paid Memberships Pro, if you just want a quick and free, paid or free membership plugin. They have some paid add-ons as well. But one of the sponsors of this channel and a great membership solution that starts at $49 is Restrict Content Pro. And if you're going to do other things like ebooks, which I'm going to mention in a moment, they also make easy digital downloads, and these two tie in really well. They also make affiliate WP. I've done another video on that, on setting up your own affiliate program. So as you blog more and as you start to think about different ways to monetize your website, you can create a membership plugin or install a membership plugin to create a membership platform, have private content, coaching, private forums, VIP access content and videos. You can do all that stuff with a membership plugin. Again, I've done plenty of videos of that stuff on how to set that stuff up. And then you can move into setting and selling ebooks. I just recently launched the podcast starter kit over at thepodcastbook.com. And this uses easy digital downloads. And it's just a 88 page ebook on setting up a podcast. And when I click on buy now, it's going to take me right to my cart. This is easy digital downloads. Look, let's see how easy that is to set up. I'm going to go to add new plugin, easy digital downloads. Install. Activate. And then I can go to downloads, add new. I can say that this is my ebook. Here's an ebook all about stuff. Add the file. Whoops. Upload the file. Let's pretend that this is an ebook. Insert that. How much is it? It's $100. Whoops, it's $1,000. Let's say it's $1,000. Publish. Preview changes. Done. Somebody comes here, they can buy my book for $1,000. They can head check out. There it is. They can put in their credit card. You need to secure your site. I've done a video on this stuff before. But the idea is you can see how quickly you can start to scale your blog. So you designed your blog, you got the look and feel, you start doing the content, you're sharing the content out there, people know who you are, they're signing up to your email list, you're doing Amazon affiliates and making some revenue that way. But then you say, how do I make more money doing this stuff? You can start selling an ebook or a membership course. And again, the Easy Digital Downloads integrates really well. I mean, it's made by the same company. It was Restrict Content Pro. So if you're using Easy Digital Downloads for free, fork over the $50 and start a membership site with Restrict Content Pro, sync the two together so you can have a product and a membership site. And now your options are limitless. But if you don't want to spend any money, Paid Memberships Pro is another great solution for that. It's free. But the icing on that cake, the icing on all of this stuff is you can set up a affiliate program, which I did with the podcast book using Affiliate WP. Again, same company of Easy Digital Downloads, Restrict Content Pro. Now you can entice other people to sell the product for you. So as you blog more, as people get to know you more, you start to grow that email list and that audience. Now you can say, you know what, people, y'all been buying my book for $100 for, the last, 2 years or so. Now you can go out and refer people to buy this book and make commission of your own. It's a, holistic cycle where you can also pay people for promoting you, just like you've been promoting people all along. It's a great sort of, 1, 2, 3 combo, as it is for making money on a WordPress website. That's all I got. That is soup to nuts, super fast crash course on setting up the WordPress site, setting up the blog, thoughts on designing the blog, thoughts on branding the blog, setting up the photos, sharing posts, creating content, making content engaging, setting up WordPress the right way in terms of backups, e-commerce. I didn't really talk too much about e-commerce except for Easy Digital Downloads. But any of these hosting platforms, you can get an SSL certificate to secure your checkout pages to accept products. Whew. It's a pretty long video. Much longer than I thought. If you liked it, thumbs up. Hopefully you do. Leave comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this. And if you use my affiliate links to these products, it really helps me create videos like this and keep them coming for you. I'm your host, Matt. It's plugintut.com, youtube.com/plugintut. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.